I thought I was just a private driver for a billionaire CEO, earning a quick $5,000 to save myself from homelessness. But when Elena Vance handed me a non-disclosure agreement and told me to take the long way home, I didn't realize I was signing away my old life forever. Now, we're hiding in the Italian wilderness while a global empire hunts us down. Stay tuned, because what started as a simple ride became a 30-minute descent into a conspiracy that changed everything. Watch until the very end, because you won't believe how this drive actually ends. My name is Noah, and 3 months ago, I was down to my last $50. I was working double shifts as a ride-share driver in Chicago just to keep my tiny apartment. Then, I got a call that changed everything. It wasn't through the app. It was a private agency. They needed a driver for a high-profile client for exactly 7 days. The pay? $5,000. I thought it was a scam until a blacked-out luxury sedan pulled up to my door. My client was Elena Vance. If you live in Chicago, you know the name. She's the CEO of Vance Global, a woman who looks like she stepped off a fashion runway and talks like she owns the city. For the first 6 days, she didn't say a single word to me. She just sat in the back, staring at her phone, surrounded by an aura of cold power. But on the 7th night, everything shifted. We were heading back from a late-night gala. The city was blurred by heavy rain. Usually, I'd take the expressway, but Elena leaned forward, her perfume filling the car, and whispered, "Noah, don't go home yet. Take the long way through the lakefront." Then, she slid a thick gold pen and a folder toward me. "Sign this," she said. It was a non-disclosure agreement. "What I'm about to tell you, if it leaves this car, your life as you know it is over." My heart was pounding against my ribs. I looked at the non-disclosure agreement, NDA, resting on the leather seat next to me. The city lights of Chicago blurred past the rain-streaked windows as I pulled the car over to a quiet spot by the lakefront. "Noah," Elena said, her voice dropping to a near whisper. "I've spent the last 6 days watching you. You're quiet, you're observant, and most importantly, you're a stranger to everyone in my circle." I signed the paper. I didn't even read the fine print. The $5,000 already in my bank account made me trust her more than I should have. As soon as I handed the folder back, she leaned forward. Her cold, CEO persona had vanished, replaced by something that looked like fear. "My board of directors is trying to stage a coup," she revealed. "They think I'm weak because of a scandal my ex-husband is trying to manufacture. I need to get to a private server room in the suburbs tonight, but my regular security team is compromised. They're reporting my every move to the board." She looked me straight in the eyes through the rearview mirror. "I need you to be more than a driver tonight, Noah. I need you to be my shadow. If we get caught, they'll say I'm stealing company data. If we succeed, I keep my empire, and you get $100,000. $100,000. That was enough to change my life forever." But as I shifted the car into drive, I saw a pair of headlights pull out from the shadows behind us. We were being followed. The headlights behind us didn't fade, they drew closer. My grip tightened on the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. "Noah, don't look back," Elena commanded, her voice cold again. "Just drive. If they stop us, the deal is off." I slammed my foot on the gas, the luxury sedan's engine roaring to life. We weaved through the rain-slicked streets of Chicago, tires screeching against the asphalt. For a moment, I forgot I was just a ride-share driver. I felt like a man holding a billion-dollar secret in my hands. We arrived at a nondescript warehouse on the edge of the city. Elena had a master keycard that she swiped with trembling hands. Inside, the air was freezing and hummed with the sound of thousands of servers. "I need 10 minutes, Noah. Watch the door," she whispered. I stood in the dark hallway, my heart hammering. Every shadow looked like a hitman. Suddenly, I heard the faint click of a gun being cocked behind me. I wasn't alone. I turned around slowly, my hands raised. It was Marcus, Elena's head of security. The man who was supposed to protect her. "Step aside, kid," he growled. "She's stealing evidence that proves she embezzled millions. You're helping a criminal." I looked at Elena through the glass partition. She looked devastated, shaking her head. No, in that split second, I had to decide, trust the woman who promised me a fortune, or the man with the badge and a gun. I didn't step aside. Instead, I kicked a heavy equipment rack over, sent it crashing into Marcus, and yelled, "Elena, run." She grabbed a small encrypted drive and we bolted for the emergency exit. Bullets shattered the glass behind us. We dived into the car just as Marcus's team surrounded the building. "Go, Noah. Go," she screamed. I drove over the curb, narrowly missing a concrete pillar, and disappeared into the fog of the suburbs. We pulled into an abandoned gas station miles away. Elena was shaking. She handed me the drive. "Marcus was lying, Noah. This drive doesn't prove I stole money, it proves they did. My board has been laundering money for years, and they were going to pin it on me." She looked at me, her eyes wet with tears. "I chose you because I knew you needed the money, but I didn't think I'd be putting your life on the line. You can leave now. Take the car. I'll handle the rest." I looked at the car, then at the drive, and finally at her. If I left now, I'd have a luxury car and $5,000, but Elena would likely be dead by morning. "I'm not a quitter, Elena," I said, putting the car back in gear. "We finish this." She gave me a small, genuine smile, the first one I'd seen all week. We headed toward the city's largest news station. It was time to go public before the board could stop us. We reached the TV station just as the sun began to peek over Lake Michigan. But Marcus was already there, blocking the entrance with 3 black SUVs. He looked smug. "Nowhere left to run, Noah." I looked at Elena. She whispered, "The side entrance, through the loading dock." I didn't slow down. I drove straight toward the SUVs, making them think I was going to ram them, then pulled a handbrake turn and drifted into the narrow alleyway of the loading dock. We made it inside. 10 minutes later, the lead anchor was holding the drive, and the evidence was being broadcast to millions. By noon, the entire board of Vance Global was under arrest. Elena sat on the steps of the station, the morning sun hitting her face. She handed me a check. It wasn't for 100,000, it was for $500,000. "For being more than a shadow," she said. I went back to my tiny apartment that day, but I wasn't a driver anymore. I was the man who saved an empire. After the broadcast, the world exploded. My phone didn't stop ringing, but I didn't answer. I sat in my small apartment, staring at the $500,000 check. It felt heavy, like it was made of lead. 2 days later, a familiar black sedan pulled up. It wasn't a driver this time, it was Elena herself behind the wheel. "Noah," she said, her voice softer than I'd ever heard it. "The police have the board, but Marcus, he disappeared before they could cuff him. I don't feel safe in the city anymore." She asked me to go with her to a private estate in the Wisconsin woods, a place no one knew about. I should have said no. I had the money, I could have started a new life. But looking at the exhaustion in her eyes, I realized I couldn't leave her. We drove for hours in silence, leaving the glowing skyline of Chicago behind. The estate was a masterpiece of glass and stone, hidden deep within a forest. It was a fortress, but even fortresses have cracks. For the first time, I saw the woman behind the CEO title. She traded her silk suits for oversized sweaters. We spent the evenings talking by the fireplace. She told me about her childhood, how she had to be ruthless to survive in a man's world. "You're the first person in 10 years who didn't want something from me, Noah," she whispered one night. The gap between a billionaire and a driver was closing, and for a moment, the world felt peaceful. Peace never lasts. On the fourth night, the security alarms didn't go off, but I woke up to a strange sound, the snap of a dry branch outside my window. I grabbed a heavy flashlight and crept to the balcony. In the distance, through the trees, I saw the faint red glow of a cigarette. Someone was watching the house. Marcus hadn't just disappeared, he had hunted us down. Before I could alert Elena, the lights flickered and died. The entire estate plunged into pitch-black darkness. "Noah." I heard her scream from the hallway. I ran toward her, tripping over furniture in the dark. I found her near the stairs, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "He's inside, Noah." I heard the basement door break. We weren't just being watched, we were being hunted in our own sanctuary. Marcus didn't want the drive anymore, he wanted revenge. He knew his career was over, and he blamed us. "I know you're in here, Noah," his voice echoed through the high-ceilinged living room. "You're just a kid playing hero. Give me the girl, and maybe I'll let you walk." I whispered to Elena to hide in the pantry while I led him toward the garage. I had to use the only advantage I had, I knew this car-filled garage better than he did. I reached the garage and hopped into a vintage sports car, turning on the high-beam headlights. The sudden blinding light caught Marcus off guard. He fired 2 shots, shattering the windshield, but I was already out of the car and moving through the shadows. I grabbed a heavy metal tire iron. As he walked past a stack of winter tires, I swung with everything I had. The blow landed, and Marcus crumpled to the floor. But he wasn't done. Marcus grabbed my leg, pulling me down, and reached for his fallen gun. We scrambled on the cold concrete, a desperate struggle for survival. Just as his fingers brushed the trigger, a loud crack echoed through the garage. Elena stood there, holding a heavy marble award she had grabbed from the office. She had knocked him out cold. We stood over him, breathing hard, 2 people from different worlds who had just saved each other again. The police arrived an hour later. This time, Marcus was hauled away in chains. As the sun rose over the pines, Elena turned to me. "Noah, the company is stable now, but I'm stepping down. I realize that $1 billion is worthless if you're always looking over your shoulder." She looked at the check she had given me. "I want you to keep that. But I also want to offer you a new job. No NDAs, no driving. Just, stay with me. Let's see where the road goes without a map." 6 months later, we weren't in Chicago or Wisconsin. We were in a small villa in Italy. I was painting again, not because I needed the money, but because I was happy. Elena was beside me, reading a book, The Ice Queen, finally melted by the sun. I started as her driver, a man with $50 and no hope. Now, I realized that the long way home wasn't just a route on a map, it was the path to the life I was always meant to live. Life in the Italian villa was perfect, almost too perfect. For months, Noah and Elena lived in a dream of sun-drenched mornings and quiet dinners. But one afternoon, while Noah was painting in the garden, a small, unmarked envelope was slipped under the iron gate. Inside was a single photograph, a grainy shot of Noah and Elena sharing a laugh at a local cafe. No note. No threat. Just the silent proof that someone, somewhere, was still watching them. Elena's face went pale as she looked at the photo. "It's not over, Noah," she whispered. It turns out, Marcus was just a pawn. The board of directors had a silent partner, a man known only as the architect, who profited from the company's laundering. With the board in jail, he had lost millions, and he blamed the driver and the CEO who exposed it all. The dream in Italy was quickly turning back into a nightmare. Noah looked at the villa, the life they had started to build. He could run again, but he was tired of looking over his shoulder. "We can't keep hiding, Elena. We need to find him before he finds us." They decided to use Elena's remaining offshore connections to trace the source of the photograph. It led them back to where it all began, the dark underbelly of the Chicago financial district. They flew back to Chicago under false names, staying in a gritty motel instead of a penthouse. Noah felt a strange sense of irony. He was back to having nothing, but this time, he had the most powerful woman in the city by his side. They spent nights tracking digital footprints, realizing the architect was planning one final move to seize what was left of Vance Global. Elena reached out to a former rival, an honest billionaire who had always respected her. Together, they set a trap. They leaked information that Elena was coming to the old headquarters to sign over her remaining shares. They knew the architect wouldn't be able to resist showing up to claim his victory. Noah prepared himself, not as a driver this time, but as the bait. The meeting was set for midnight in the empty, glass-walled boardroom. A man stepped out of the shadows. It was Julian, Elena's oldest friend and her former legal counsel. "I didn't want it to come to this, Elena," Julian said, his voice devoid of emotion. "But you were always too principled. You should have just let the money flow." Noah, hidden behind a heavy curtain, recorded every word on a live stream to the FBI. Julian pulled a small, silenced pistol. "Noah was a mistake, Elena. A driver shouldn't have been your hero." Just as he aimed, Noah stepped out, holding a heavy studio light. He didn't use a gun, he used his surroundings. He swung the light, shattering the glass table between them and distracting Julian long enough for the tactical team to storm the room. As the handcuffs clicked on Julian's wrists, the silence that followed was deafening. It was truly over. No more shadows, no more hidden partners. Elena slumped into a chair, her eyes meeting Noah's. "You saved me again," she said, her voice trembling. "Not just my life, but my soul." Noah realized that the money didn't matter anymore. The thrill of the chase was gone, leaving only the truth of their bond. Back in Italy, months later, Noah finally finished the portrait he had started long ago. It wasn't the Ice Queen anymore. It was a woman with a genuine smile, standing by a window with the New York skyline replaced by the rolling hills of Tuscany. He titled it, "The Long Way Home." It was a reminder that sometimes, the most dangerous roads lead to the most beautiful destinations. Noah and Elena stood on their balcony, watching the sunset. They were no longer the CEO and the driver, nor the billionaire and the struggling artist. They were just two people who had survived the fire together. "Noah," Elena whispered, leaning her head on his shoulder. "What's our next adventure?" Noah smiled, looking at the horizon. "Wherever the road takes us, Elena." As long as I'm the one driving. Months after the Chicago incident, our life in the Tuscan villa felt like a dream. But one morning, while I was painting in the garden, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. There was no voice, just heavy, rhythmic breathing. I realized then that the ghosts we left behind weren't truly gone. Julian might be in jail, but his network was still alive. I looked at Elena, laughing as she picked lemons, and I knew I had to be more than just her artist, I had to be her shield. Elena sensed my fear and led me to a hidden vault beneath the villa. She handed me a rusted iron key. "Noah, there are files here my father hid when he built Vance Global. These are the real reason they are hunting me." I opened the vault to find old ledgers and a map leading to a revolutionary energy technology. This wasn't just about money anymore, it was about a power that could change the world's economy. We were sitting on a goldmine that people would kill for. We knew staying in Italy was no longer an option. Instead of running, we decided to expose the secret to the world. I contacted old friends from my college days, experts in cybersecurity. We planned a secret return to Chicago, not to the penthouses, but to the shadows. We weren't backed by police or a security team this time. It was just my courage and Elena's brilliant mind against a global conspiracy. We reached our old Chicago headquarters at midnight. Outside, a massive storm turned the sky black, mirroring the tension inside. I sat at the terminal, fingers flying across the keys to decode the encrypted files. Suddenly, the power cut out. The heavy thud of boots echoed against the marble floor outside. Elena grabbed my hand, her grip trembling. "Don't let go, Noah," she whispered. As the door groaned under the pressure of a ram, the upload bar hit 100%. The truth was now in the hands of every major news outlet in the world. The doors burst open, and armed men flooded the room. Leading them was someone we never suspected, Elena's own cousin, the man who had been helping us all along. "You've gone too far, Noah," he sneered, the red dot of a laser sight dancing on my chest. "But this is where your little fairy tale ends." I dropped my paintbrush and picked up a heavy metal easel. I knew that tonight, only one of us would walk out of this building alive. I wasn't a trained fighter, but the instinct to protect the woman I loved turned me into something else. I used the darkness to my advantage, throwing furniture and canisters to confuse them. Elena didn't run, she stayed by my side, using a heavy bronze statue to take down one of the gunmen. In the chaos, I managed to reach the emergency manual override, flooding the room with blinding white light that stunned our attackers. Within minutes, a tactical Interpol team stormed the floor. They had been tracking the digital leak I had set up as a failsafe. Watching Elena's cousin being dragged away in chains felt like the end of a long, dark era. Elena stood among the ruins of her office and made a choice that shocked the world. She announced she was donating her entire remaining fortune to a global energy trust. She didn't want to be a billionaire anymore, she just wanted to be free. The next morning, the sun rose over a different New York City. Elena and I walked through Central Park, two faces in a sea of thousands. No one recognized us. No one cared about the ex-CEO or the driver. Elena turned to me, her eyes brighter than the morning sun. "Noah, I have nothing left. No empire, no billions, just the clothes on my back." I smiled and squeezed her hand. "You have me, and I have you. That's the only empire I ever wanted." Years later, we opened a small gallery in Brooklyn. On the walls were my paintings, each one capturing a moment of our journey. From the rain-slicked streets of Chicago to the golden hills of Italy. People came from all over to see the art, but they stayed for the story. It was no longer a hidden office secret, it was a legend of sacrifice and a love that survived the highest stakes imaginable. Tonight, as we drove our modest car along the coast toward home, I remembered that first night. Elena had asked me to take the long way home. I realize now that the long way wasn't a shortcut, it was the journey that defined us. Life is a canvas, and we are the ones who choose the colors. For me, Elena will always be the masterpiece I spend my life protecting. And as the sun set behind us, I knew that as long as I was driving, we were exactly where we were meant to be. If you enjoyed this long journey of Noah and Elena, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Reddit Nights for more epic stories. What would you do if you were in Noah's position? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching until the very end.